It's Christmas morning, and you're with your family opening gifts and having fun. But you open one gift, and you get the best video game of all time, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Eagerly, you sit at the couch, get your eardrums blasted off by the boot-up screen, and play with your family, unlocking characters such as Link, Samus, and Wolf. But then, you unlock a different character, R.O.B. You have no idea who this character is. Smash is supposed to be a celebration of gaming icons, people like Pichu and Lucina and Lucas. But you take your mind off it by choosing to instead play another Christmas gift you got, this being Mario Kart 7. And you're playing the game, having so much fun, unlocking new cups, until you find him. Who is this robot? Why is he so important? Well, you've come to the right place. I'm going to show you why R.O.B is the most important character in the entire Smash Bros. Roster, and why he is the most important video game character ever created. Because without him, we wouldn't have any video games at all. It's 1977. The very first Star Wars movie was made, President Carter was put into office, and a brand new era of video games was upon us, with the release of the Atari 2600. And the Atari 2600 sold like hotcakes. Everybody wanted one, and everybody had one. But the problem with the dramatic success of the Atari 2600 is that when there's blood in the water, there's sharks. And when there's money, there's terrible, lazy video game developers. The market was absolutely flooded with subpar games and subpar consoles, with button layouts like this. And so cracks in the impenetrable dam that was video games began to show. And eventually, the thing that broke the dam entirely came in the form of E.T. In 1982, Steven Spielberg made E.T., which for 16 non-consecutive weekends was #1 in the box office. People loved this movie, and pretty soon, Atari purchased the rights to make their own E.T. video game. Principal game designer Howard Scott Warsaw wanted this to be an innovative adaptation, but he didn't just want to innovate, he wanted to revolutionize the video game scene, creating things that they have never seen before. And so Atari gave him 5 weeks to complete it. Now, 5 weeks is absolutely nothing when it comes to developing video games. Most AAA games take at the very least 2 or 3 years to complete. But there are a couple reasons for this. For one, Atari really wanted this game to have a holiday release so that they can maximize the amount of sales they can get. Another reason was that they really needed to ride on the hype of the original E.T., because if they didn't, the game would not sell as well. Atari was very confident in E.T. the video game. So confident, in fact, that they made 4 million copies of this game, which is a massive amount for the time period. And after a release, thanks to all of their work, everything that led up to this moment, E.T. managed to get 3.5 million copies returned. The absolute failure of E.T. the video game was the straw that broke the camel's back when it came to Atari. That was the last chance they had, and so their train derailed from the tracks. And when a train derails, it crashes. This all leading to the video game crash of 1983. There were several reasons for the video game crash of 1983. Oversaturation, the overall quality of the games. But the main thing was that people didn't really trust video games. You see, there was one part of the E.T. the video game story I forgot to mention, and that was that people actually bought the game. Around 2 million units were sold. But of those 2 million, 3/4 were refunded or returned. And that was because the game was terrible. Surprise, surprise, if you give a game developer 5 weeks to make a game, it's gonna be bad. Companies tried to make game consoles in 1983, but nobody trusted games anymore, so they never worked. Until Nintendo. See, you wouldn't buy your son a video game console for Christmas, but you would buy him a super cool action figure, and that's exactly what R.O.B was, an action figure, because he had almost no interactability with the rest of the console. He had a total of 2 games. These games known as Gyromite and Stack Up. Gyromite is a game where you use R.O.B to open doors for Professor Hector so that he can get dynamite. With both of these games, you would receive little add-ons that you would add to R.O.B itself. To do this, R.O.B places gyros on buttons on a pad near him. I don't really know how to explain Stack Up, so I'll just take it from the Wikipedia page. In the direct game mode, the player makes their block stack match with the one shown on screen by moving Hector to the button that corresponds to the desired movement. And so that's the story of how R.O.B saved the gaming world by being a Trojan horse.